Hello, everyone. Welcome to Developing Palates. I'm Aaron Loomis, and with me, as always, is June Liu. How you doing, June?
Doing good, man.
A little New Year's Day action. You at the office for some reason, but
Yeah, I'm a fucking corporate slave, I tell you.
that's right. So today we are talking about the Mombacho Cosecha 2012. Cigar is 6 by 52. Comes out of the Casa Favelli factory in Nicaragua. The blend information is basically just Nicaraguan Puro wrapper binder filler. It was blended by Claudio Segroy. Price point is $21.95, and the cigar was released in August of 2017. So with that out of the way, June, take us through your smoking experience for the cigar.
So to overall kind of talk about the cigar, upon first light, and the first two kind of first getting your palate adjusted to the cigar, right, and then just getting into it. Two words come to mind. I mean, I think uh, balance and finesse. So coming from Claudio, and my understanding is like he learned a lot of his blending skills from Henke.
Mhm.
Um, it's not a lot of it's not really surprising, but yeah, like a lot of finesse, a lot of balance. So everything that I tasted was not, spiked. Everything just kind of worked really well together. So like specifically like a lot of naturally sweet dry nuts, cedar, uh, baking spices, minerals, and then when you retrohale it, it gives you just bigger notes of those things that I just talked about. Um, but not so much that it's like really like scorching your palate or especially your nose. Um, Pretty clean finish, dry cedar nuttiness. And in terms of body and strength, it's one of those surprisingly, even with so much like balance and finesse, the strength is pretty much it doesn't take much to get it to medium full range. Kind of mine kind of really started within the like second third of the cigar in a medium body format. So overall, it was yeah, balanced finesse, just really tasty notes. Really enjoyed it.
And how about construction wise?
Oh, in terms of construction, I rated the performance for burn good, which is two notches below our perfect score. Two things attributed to that. Um, Two fairly major touch-ups within the first and second third. Flakes, ashes are pretty flaky. But on the upside of it, ample smoke production, burn was slow, it was cool. So overall, just good. In terms of draw, I rated it very good, which is just one notch below our perfect score. Um, a little tight for my liking, but it's not really like a major issue. So overall, I would say construction was just good.
Yeah. Uh, for me, the cigar started out, wood, cinnamon, cream, some earth. Kind of getting in the second third, that would transition to a charred oak, kind of along with the cinnamon and the cream. Final third was charred oak, cinnamon, dry earth. And strength was kind of slightly above medium through the first two thirds, and then kind of bumped up to medium full in the final third. In regards to the construction, I thought the burn was perfect. It was straight the entire way, didn't need any attention. Ash held on an inch and a half increment, so it was really nice. In regards to the draw, I think it's pretty much similar to you. A little more snug than I prefer, but it didn't cause any issues with the smoking experience. Just kind of one notch below the perfect level. What were your overall thoughts on this cigar?
I still think Mombacho continues to impress me as one of, within some of these lines, right? So, some of these lines, such as the Mombacho 10th anniversary, the Liga Maestro Double Robusto, and now this Cosecha 2012. I mean, it's a lot of flavor, it's a lot of balance. You know, it's really nice to have a cigar like this, and especially in America, because there's so many more of the heavier, spicier, grittier, just bigger mouthfeel of cigars that's out there. So it's really nice to have something like this to smoke. Something that I didn't quite mention within my like smoking experiences, the last third, it does throws off it does throw out the balance, and the strength becomes a bit overbearing, especially when you are talking about within the first two thirds being so balanced. But I think that with age, I think this is something that will remedy it. And I think this is also a cigar that you want to save some for down the line and see how kind of different vintages with age will alter the flavor experience. But I liked it. I'm looking. I hope Claudio will and Mombacho come out with future cosechas. And if so, it'll be really cool to like do like a perhaps like a nice fun vertical to it.
Yeah, I did the cinnamon note that came through the first two thirds. The final third was a bit less dynamic. And it's kind of to be expected. Final third is usually the least enjoyable in most cigars. Construction was really good, so you don't have to worry about any of that. You can just focus on flavors. I really like the cosecha concept. Having all the tobacco from the same harvest year. So I'm really looking forward to if Mamacho continues this trend. I know they already have some of the cigars from other vintages, kind of ready to roll or sitting in the aging rooms and things like that. So I'm very much looking forward to trying some of the other ones. If you like Mombacho stuff, I mean, I think this is kind of right in that same wheelhouse. So it's not going to be, out in left field or anything like that. Strength wasn't much of a factor here for me, at least. So it's kind of a flavor first type of cigar. I dig it. Price point is really high up there. So, it's more like something that you can smoke here and there. It wouldn't be something that I could see smoking once a week or anything like that. But it's still a good cigar. Getting up to our scores, I gave it a 6.67. You gave yours a 7.88. How do you think that matches up with your experience?
It matches it well. I mean, the main takeaway for that is, the first couple of thirds being really good, and overall good, slash okay construction performance. This in terms of new cigars for this year, this one definitely hits on the top for me.
Yeah, my score matches well. I have a different kind of thought than you. It doesn't shoot up there to the top of the list for me. This is more of kind of in the middle of the pack for what I've experienced this year. Good flavors for the first two thirds, average in the final third, really good construction. And good overall. That's kind of there's a big bulk of cigars that kind of fit in there. They're good cigars. Not saying that they're just average run of the mill cigars, but just kind of this one doesn't do enough to kind of make itself stand out. So, but I mean, it's still a good tasting cigar. You just have to fight the price point on this cigar. So that's the only really negative I would see on that. Any other final thoughts from you?
Um, Speaking of kind of fighting through the price here, and that's an interesting thing you bring up because Mombacho being such a smaller company, and I mean to come out here, I mean yeah, I get it, man. Like this is your Cosecha 2012, this is your limited edition kind of a smoke, but for being such a small company and to come out with such a commanding price point,
Mhm.
it's pretty ballsy. Like, I mean, yeah, I and I'm going to go on a limb and say few people know the pedigree of Claudio and being, basically job shadowing, learning what he knows in large part from Henke, right? And which we know from Davidoff, right? So who did a lot of the Davidoffs. So that's a tough one, man. Like especially when I look at this year's new cigars, like that smoking jacket Henke one that we smoked. I mean, that thing's $10 and it was fantastic, right?
Right.
So I think $20 is a pretty it's hard to swallow, and it's at the same rate. It's in line with kind of how they price the 10th anniversary, right? It's around the
Right.
same price point, I think.
Yeah.
So this is definitely categorized as more of a special cigar for most people.
Mhm.
So, anyways, but I think it's worth enough that you should buy one to smoke now, and then preferably buy another one to lay down. So.
Right. I agree with that. If you're just catching this video on YouTube, be sure to subscribe to us, but also check out the full written review on the website, developingpalates.com. Be sure to follow us on all the social media channels, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Google+. And you can catch all of our review recaps on podcast, iTunes, Google Play, and Podbean. Thank you for tuning in, and we will catch you on the next one.